So here's the video for the Halide Lab. Make sure you read the top. The first 3 pre-lab questions you can answer with the information on the top here. So the first thing I'm going to have you do is the first 3 pre-lab questions on your own. I'll show you where the halogens are in the video in a second. But first I'm going to do questions 4 and 5 with you. So when you're working with bleach and ammonium hydroxide, make sure that you don't mix them together. If you mix them together, you can form a chloramine compound, which is very toxic. It's very irritating to your lungs. For silver nitrate, you've used this before, so you know this answer. It can stain your skin, it can stain your clothes, it just stains everything. And just to be clear, we're looking at the halogens in this lab. So this group 17, is called the halogens. You got fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine, and then technically that bottom one, but we don't really care about it. And just so that you are aware, the materials on the bottom, it shows you all the formulas and the names of the compounds, so if you need to know that, go back and check the front page. And what we're going to do in this lab is we're going to fill out this table. So I'll walk you through this. We have a 4x4 grid here, and we're going to mix the chemicals and record if there's a precipitate. So you can put PPT if there's a precipitate, or NR if there's no reaction. So here's our 4x4 grid. I know I'm going fast, so pause this. We have the 4 halides. So halides are when they're mixed with a metal. And then we have 4 wells. So you see you got wells 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got a nice 4x4 grid here with the well plates. So what we're going to do first is we're going to put the sodium fluoride across the top 4, then sodium chloride in the next 4, and so forth. Just get it all set up so that when we mix the compounds along the top, going down the columns, it's ready to go. And again, just to remind you here, the halide, so fluorine is just fluorine by itself, but what we are working with here is sodium fluoride, NaF. So it's called fluoride when it's with a metal and it's given up, or no, it's gained the electron that it's looking for. The halides like to gain electrons. So each of the halides we're working with have already stolen an electron from sodium. So again, we got sodium iodide here. So now at this point we're going to add calcium nitrate to the first column, to well 1. And you'll see for this one there's no reaction for any of them, so you can just put NR all the way down. Nothing happens on that one. I put a white paper under it so that it's a little easier to see. Next step, so there you go, write your observations there. Go back in the video if you need to take a look at that. Now we're going to add silver nitrate to well 2. And you can't see it, but some of them are forming precipitates. They're forming white precipitates. I ended up taking the white paper out from underneath it so you can see it. I believe I did anyways. You're going to end up writing your observations right there. Okay, I guess I didn't take it out. We're going to add ammonium hydroxide next. So you can see the top one was brown. It has a brown precipitate. I believe that one had a white precipitate. So you can see the brown precipitate kind of left. There we go. Okay. So So you can see the first one had a brown precipitate that disappeared, the next two have a white precipitate, and the bottom one has kind of a creamy precipitate. And again, use PPT to abbreviate precipitate. And then after adding the ammonium hydroxide, the first one kind of disappeared. That bottom one cleared up a little bit, but not much. I would say no reaction there. Okay, now we're going to do well 3. We're going to add silver nitrate again. So we should have the same reaction as well 2 because we're adding the same thing. So you can see the 2 white precipitates, the creamy one. I'm not sure why the top one didn't turn brown. It might just be because it's a black background, harder to see. Now we're going to add the sodium thiosulfate. And you can see that one clears up. It looks like a precipitate formed in the top one. So the top one, a new precipitate formed. The second one, it cleared up. And the third one also clears up. Not quite as much. It took a little more, but it did clear up. Okay, now we're on well 4, so we're going to add starch. And now it looks like something's forming there, but that's really just kind of fizzy bubbles from when I mixed up the starch. You can see after it sits, it just kind of mellows out, so nothing happened there. And then we're going to add the bleach. So we just did the starch, now we're doing the bleach, so make sure you're recording them in the right spot. And the last one, you can see it turns black. I believe I put a white paper under that last one so you can see it, but it did turn a dark black color. Yeah, so there you can see it a little better, and then you can kind of check out the other ones too. You can see in the third row, so the ones that dissolve, so you may want to pause the video and just double check your observations. And again, make sure you put that black precipitate for the bottom. And then at this point, just do the lab questions. Most of them just say, hey, what did you observe? Just go back, check your data table, record what you observed. Some of them go over the trends, so you got those in your notes. So at this point, just make sure you finish all the questions. The last one, the thought question's a little tricky, so if you need help on that one, come back to school, ask me for help. I'd be happy to help you.